Welcome, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 4, playing as the Soviet Union. Yes, we have the La Résistance patch added to it, but we have to get ready for potential actions coming soon. I don't know, quite honestly, I don't know how it's handled because I have not played the Soviet Union before. Now we can take a quick look here. And Mecha Boy, long-time viewer here, asked a question. How does a Soviet rifle division have a max of 2,000 men to a German's division 17,000? Okay. Well, it depends on which. Well, I'm not just talking about divisions that are, have a lot of attrition after war, but not all German divisions are the same. At least some of the ones I know of have like 10,000 men. So here's the thing. And the Soviet Union was organizing at different times some different divisions. I am not an expert on Soviet order of battle, but I have some understanding of sort of what's going on. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but generally speaking, once you're getting into the, 1941 and later era of Soviet unit size scales, once the war kicks off properly with Germany. A division is about the strength of a brigade. A corps, or to most Western division, or most Western countries, and I put that, like I say, most Western countries, and I'm including Germany in that, most European countries. A brigade is about a division has about the same strength as a Western brigade. A corps has about the same strength as a division. These are all fairly relative terms. Yes, we're playing the Soviet Union. We've been playing the last 2 weeks as the Soviet Union. I guess you've just missed the live stream, so I've been doing it. So, hi Tippet. And this is done, I think, for several reasons. I don't know all of them, but one, I think, is a bit of a propagandistic disinformation campaign against enemies, primarily Germany, but against enemies. So when somebody is doing, we can see here, cipher decryption or whatever, the enemy is getting information from the Soviets. Oh, they've just moved the such and such corps over here. Well, it sounds a lot more impressive than they've just moved a particular division somewhere. So you're trying to throw the enemy off by seeming more powerful than you are. That's part of it. I also believe part of it is, and as McAvoy also mentioned, prepare for the purge. Soviets have gone through several purges. They have decimated their trained officer corps. They have put absolute fear into their existing officer corps after it, into where the Commissar, whose qualifications are political and maybe ideological. I don't know how strong ideological loyalty was, but definitely political loyalty, political reliability to central authority was the primary qualification. Not effectiveness, either in dealing with other human beings, being not just a good sport or something, but dealing well with others, which is always good in a leadership position of any type. and or in, shall we say, any sort of military qualifications. Those were particularly either secondary or actively discouraged, in my humble opinion, from picking who were going to be the commissars at any particular level. And at the higher the level, the more politically reliable requirements for the Soviet or Soviet High Command, Stalin, whatever, the party, however you want to say it. And so that was that was who was terrifying, because the wrong or right word or whatever from the commissar not so much gets you fired as in, oh, you're no longer the general of this division, or, oh, you're no longer a general. It's like either shot, which all the purges were, or, hey, just, some time in a gulag. And that ain't going to be 10 days. It's going to be quite a while. And, without the actual happenings of a massive invasion into the Soviet Union, you're probably going to be in there for a while, if whatever the purpose to getting you out, because you're being useful often in a gulag. Not all gulags aren't the same, but a lot of gulags are specifically set up as some sort of work camp. Whether it's, I don't know so much in production of like war materials or other sorts of factories, but often as in building infrastructure projects and similar things like that. So you very well may be being useful as a guy with a shovel, or you just may be there were just pure internment camps. But other things, like they would have them out chopping trees for, whether for firewood or building lumber, out in the great forests, and various. So that may be the rest of your life, long or short as it may be. And the invasion does pull quite a few people out of gulags to be put back into command. And so you're terrified of your political commissar, who either gets orders down his own chain of command, or, of course, reads every military order being sent, just looking for traitors, treasonous actions, whatever it might be, interpreting every single order issued either by the particular military commander or by other, higher chains of command, or even potentially lower chains of command, depending on where he is, for reading it in the most, negative possible light. We can't hold much longer. Oh, he's refusing to hold the line, or whatever. So orders that come through are often, that don't necessarily meet the aren't necessarily based in reality. It's sad because I can't play Bannerlords because they keep updating it when I'm trying to reinstall it. Okay. Yes, Australian is bad internet, which is probably part of the problem. But so, and we can see this not just in the Soviet case. This isn't just modern social justice not acknowledging, we're the party of science. We can't scientifically determine who are men and women. What? Okay, yeah, okay. But we're, like you see, particularly France, but even other nations that have, the idea that when they're issuing the orders back at wherever the headquarters is, including like an airbase to go do an airstrike here, by the time, they've figured out and asked for the airstrike and launched the attack, conditions on the ground very well may have changed. And so do you say they've ordered a bomber strike on Moghilev, guess it's a bad pronunciation of it. You've been ordered to do so. And as you approach the city, you see a bunch of Soviet banners flying on the ground. Do you, A, break off the attack, believing, maybe incorrectly, because it could be a false capitalistic ruse, or fascistic ruse, by putting the Soviet flags on the ground and returning to the airbase? Or do you strike it and know that you're killing Soviet soldiers? And when so what do? Because when it's launched, and this could be a perfectly reasonable initial order. It's not like I say, it's not necessarily like you must attack the town with your division and not stop because we have to attack. And they're going, yeah, there's 200 of us, and I can count 10,000 men right there, each with a machine gun pointed at us. As soon as we pop our heads up, we're all dead. Yeah, but you must attack. There's sometimes it just known to be unrealities. Other times it's like, yeah, well, the counterattack went in earlier, we're late or whatever, and they have the town. Well, you do the airstrike, because when you get back to the airbase and they come running up to you, why didn't you do the airstrike? Oh, because we saw that the Soviets had taken the town. You fool! No, they haven't taken the town, or they got pushed back out. If you'd only struck, you would have won. We would have won. It's your fault that they've lost. Off you go to the gulag. But if you come back, you just did an airstrike on our troops. We did. We were ordered to strike there. Didn't you see the Soviet flags out there? No, we didn't see any Soviet flags. We saw some big red Nazi flags. And so they have... I'm not going to do a historical OOB for the Soviets. God, no. Spiraling. It may be very good, but it's rather complicated OOB in my understanding. I'm not going to try to mimic it. So you have this you have obviously unrealities in warfare. And that's one reason that aircraft are so valuable and important, is that when you have the airbase here and you can strike here, where this division can only strike in one place. But also, once, it's ordered to strike up there, once it gets there, there are human-guided weapons. I mean, obviously, they're free-fall bombs or something once you drop them. But until you drop them, they're human-guided. And you're sort of hoping that the humans are making sense of what's going on the ground and picking good targets once they're there. So, yeah, and so you have this problem with the Soviets and the commissars, and that, to the best of my knowledge, continues up until the end, and only a few select military commanders, which are distrusted, that are to some degree allowed to, shall we say, buck the system. Sometimes they're high-ranking, like Zhukov towards the end. Sometimes they're just sort of heroes of the Soviet Union that have been made up partially by propaganda and partially by effects on the ground. And they're, especially people at the top, they're deeply distrusted. Military leader Zhukov, in particular, by Stalin, because he is a potential, person who can launch a coup, and maybe the army will get behind, and maybe the people will get behind, and not overthrow the Soviet system, but overthrow Stalin and replace it with somebody else, him or, Zhukov or somebody else. So, yeah, you have bad leadership. So if you give bad leadership, the more units under it, the harder it is to command. And looking at, so how big is your division? The bigger the division, the harder it is to command and that matters. So Soviet brigades, again, this is all why Soviet divisions are so much smaller than Western divisions, and that is one of the main reasons. Because now you do have another reason that is more legitimate, but I don't know how well it is done in practice, because spiraling, puts out, some link to a order of battle. Order of battles and TOE, tables of organization and equipment, don't always meet reality, either because they were never given all of the equipment or personnel, or they've had combat losses. So the idea that a division is supposed to have, I don't know, let's say 20 artillery pieces. Okay. They may have been given their 20 artillery pieces, and some are now non-functional because they've been damaged or lost or whatever in combat. Or they may never have been given the full 20 artillery pieces. So by having small divisions, they may not have, because we have both the support here and sort of line artillery battalions, increasing the number of guns in this division. And this is probably not a good example of a Soviet division, either in absolute terms or in relative terms to other nations. So if we were to sort of get rid of these support elements here, and if you could, the ones that are in the field here, I'm still covering the question. I hope this is useful. That if you have this sort of triangle, if you will, and it's because it's 3 units, the idea is that it's triangular. It's called because the idea is this and this brigade here of 3 battalions are designed to be in combat, while this one is designed to be in reserve, and this one is either put in simply as a rotation replacement of one of the other 2 brigades, or for if the enemy's breaking through, you move it in as a blocking force, or if you see an opportunity to break through flank or something, you commit your reserves. At some point, at least in Western, it's a bit different in Soviet logic. In Western terms, at some point, one of the other 2 brigades are meant to be pulled out of combat. And so that's why this is called a triangular division, because it's 2 legs, it's sort of two at the front and 1 in the rear, sort of creating a triangle. But if you were to go down to, say, like a binary, which Italy did, just for various reasons, but if you were to go down there and have all of these supporting elements at the same equal level, you've now increased the support firepower for the per division, and that can be a good thing if you have it. It's sort of one way of dealing with. The other way is to simply increase the amounts of support instead of decreasing the amount of battalions, increasing the amount of support, so that all of these units are capable of getting the same amount of support as a few of these. So, and it's again partially a management issue, a command and control issue. And that comes into play heavily. So you have a lot of Soviet divisions that would equivalently have 1 brigade supporting elements to it, and that's set up, and the battalions act sort of like other brigades. So I guess that sort of kind of long-windedly answers your question, I hope, if you haven't entirely left here. So yeah, that is why the Soviet have such smaller divisions and set up. Now, we're not going to do that for multiple reasons, but we could. Oh, well, we'll leave the NKVD division in there, even though it's more useless. Now we have to sort of get ready to deal with Poland. Yes, you can go away. We don't need you. We'll get it. So I do not know what sort of events or decisions that are going to come about. We don't want tanks commanders because we don't have any tanks in our... Okay, infantry officer, reckless. Now, my education, this is based probably more on 1970s and 1980s Soviet divisions. One of the reasons they were not, and things did change later on, but talking about how the Western divisions, you know, are triangular, and that goes down to triangular brigades, triangular battalions, triangular companies. The idea is, you know, 2 of them in the line and 1 in reserve is the tactical principle. The Soviet concept wasn't to have the reserves. They were meant to grind the division to dust. To send that, or whatever that unit is, to send that unit in and have it fight until it is no longer a combat effective unit. And after that, whether it's rebuilt or simply scrapped and the personnel assigned to other units, I don't necessarily know, but you know, probably varied at different times as to what the action was going to be. Okay, now, we're going to leave all these guys back at, well, okay, now we're going to leave the infantry back at Moscow. We're going to move. Haven't really worried that much about the cavalry divisions as being something separate. Do we have more armored? I really have not been looking at what divisions. We've been building infantry divisions. Okay, here's our armored division sitting up here getting ready to go into Finland, I guess. Okay, so let's do that. Let's add you to there. Let's come back up here. We can give it to, yeah, we can give it to Zhukov. So he now has that. We ever get our armored divisions that we sent off to Spain back? Didn't, because not everything was dead. Maybe that's what some of these were. I don't know. Don't think so. Not sure. Not everything was dead when Spain surrendered. And I thought we got some sent back. But shouldn't they be under, well, maybe they weren't just those infantry divisions that I disbanded, so I don't know. Maybe that unit got disbanded. Okay, well, recruit and deploy. Let's take a quick look here. Yeah. Lots of tanks, a little bit of support. Do we have the manpower, equipment, and whatnot? Yes, so let's do that. That will improve our tank corps a little bit, and let's train. Okay, what's our Okay, we're building medium tanks, which is what I've been wanting to do to replace that reliance on light cores. So let's train up 2 of these. Now let's designate Moscow as its starting location just so that we can find it easy and it's in the center of things. Okay, well, now let's come here. Oh, do we need to? Okay, let's get up. We may promote up. Promote up Zukov or somebody to higher command. Okay, well, that's some organization. Let's get the clock rolling. Now, of course, the war has started a little early because I believe it was September. Okay, localized training centers for spies. I'm not doing it. I'm not good at figuring out this intel and how to use it, particularly for the Soviet yet. So I'm not going to focus too much more on it. I don't think unless you guys have a target that we can hit, because Poland's going to disappear, so there's no point in spying in Poland. I don't know. Somebody from experience has some good ideas. Okay, we want to do some trade for some rubber. Who do we want to trade with? This looks like so much of these countries. British Raj, okay. I was reading about combat width, but still don't understand how this mechanic works. Some people only use 20 and other people use 40. Spy on Germany? Well, yeah, okay, but to what point? To what end? What am I supposed to? What am I? And so, yeah, spying, and I get that, and that's an easy thing to say. But what? And I can scrap all of this and get these people home. But what's my goal? What's my objective within the spy mechanics? And if somebody has a plan more than just, hey, put a spy in Germany, what operation am I supposed to work to carry out? Whether maybe it's ciphers, I don't know. Set that up, because we've sort of been looking at Spain here, but I could try to cancel all that and get out. I don't know what I should do. Okay, combat width. I've played this game a lot. I don't pay attention to combat width. Okay. There's 2 ways to look at any of these war games like this. Like any war game that has, variable factors. One, and my cousin was really good at this, he would read the rules of the war game and read and figure stuff out. And I remember one time playing and he was looking through and reading. And I was like, after literally, I don't know, half an hour plus, it's supposed to be his turn. Were you going to do something? Well, I'm trying to figure this out. He's reading through all the, stuff. Well, if you have a question, because it was a game that he hadn't played much compared to me, you could just ask me. I could try to answer it. Well, I'm just trying to, partly I think, of course, he doesn't want to give away his plans to me. I understood that. But partially he was looking for the optimum options. Okay. Sort of like combat width. What's the optimum? And you could try to figure that out. And there's people, as Spiraling his comment, have said. I even have a hard time looking to figure out where the combat width is on the diagram here. It's here, I know. Like I say, oh no, that's weight. Where's width? It's combat width. Okay, 24. So this is a 24 combat width. There's another way to look at this whole thing, and I'm playing from sort of my perspective, is to look at this thing over here and go, hey, this amount of support, this amount of, artillery support, this amount of support elements, this amount of infantry units, that makes a good division. If this is a well-designed game, a good division designed like a good real-world division, should be best. So I've always looked at that. So okay, yeah, we could try to get the German cipher. Let's can we cancel this operation? Is there a... Oh, I don't want to deselect. I know you're in the middle of an operation, and I don't know if we can, I don't know that we can cancel this. So as soon as this is done, we'll bring these guys home and see about sending them to Germany to get their ciphers or something. So yeah, so I don't have good intelligent comments on what your division width should be. I have reasonably decent ideas on what real world divisions should have, their balance. Generally more artillery than just the support artillery, and to the point. Okay, Operation Zent. Now we have to. Okay. Do we have anything here or options? Proof the Stalin line, that would probably be annex Tanutuva. War with Japan. We're not going to go with war with Japan. Demand Eastern Poland. Yeah, I think we want to do claims on the Baltic security claims on Poland. So hopefully we'll get our part of Poland from Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. But I'm guessing we don't. Invade. It's a bit more complicated for the engine. Okay, and we've been expanding and we will continue to... I am worried about simply handing radar over to our enemies. They get to use it once they capture the region. And let's look at I say medium tanks is a good thing to build more of. German pressure towards Benelux. Tempting, tempting, tempting. Just don't see much reason for doing naval improvements. That could be really good. Gonna get the KV-1. I don't know, Arno. One, there really isn't, I'm just seeing if something popped up, really isn't a KV-1 in the game. This is all freaking mythical. You have to go in and do the various improvements to things to try to shape it into that. I don't know if we want heavy tank divisions. I don't know how useful they're going to be. I think I'm building anti-tank. Oh, well, I'm here. Yeah, we're building anti-tank guns. What is my current stock of them? Okay, yeah, we have maybe enough to issue them out to our, particularly our infantry divisions. Okay, we already have anti-tank support there. In tank divisions, I don't know. Now, since we're not playing Black Ice, we can, okay, and we need to, I guess, let's upgrade this because we have a lot of that. PPSH really disrupts that production. Since we're not playing Black Ice, I was going to say, since we're not playing Black Ice, what we can do here is make a variant. I don't know if we should yet, just doing more destructive power per tank. And yes, we are producing tanks now, which is a good thing. Medium tanks, that is. We have what here, 41. Do we wait to spend, because we're no longer going to be generating huge amounts of army experience because we're no longer in Spain, and wait and sort of wait until 1940 and then push ahead with T-34s and build a lot of them and use for the armor divisions that as anti-tank capabilities. Fall of Warsaw. Poland has capitulated. I don't know of a better thing to do than continue to build up our armaments industry. I'm not saying there isn't, I just don't know of it. Oh yeah, we're gonna eventually the Netherlands join the Allies. Okay, Germans declare war on Netherlands. Okay, well, oh, that's fine. If the Germans have declared war on the Netherlands, yeah, they should join the Allies. And Belgium. So that's happening. Obviously a little early, but still in fall. Panay incident. Now, why am I not getting... I thought we did the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. I thought... Oh, man. Did we not get that? Was I too... involved with Poland to... Or not Poland, to Spain to notice? Maybe that didn't happen. Okay, here, yeah, okay, it did happen. Good, good, good. Ooh, good. I thought it happened. Didn't know if I was losing my mind or whatnot. Okay, no, okay. Where are you, well, that doesn't matter really. Okay, I'll give you there. Yeah, I'm using the... Now, just a bit of commentary here about games and expectations and sort of, because I thought, now it was last week that we played this for those watching later on YouTube, so it's been 7 days, and so I don't remember every detail of what happened previously, and we had been fighting in Spain, so I was a bit confused, but I thought Ribbentrop-Molotov had happened. And expectations, and I say this as a game designer because I am a game designer. Well, okay, mod designer, but it's modding a game. It's game design. It's not actually, designing a game from scratch. No, absolutely not. It's not the same thing, but it is a very similar thing, obviously. So, with Third Reich events, a good plug for that. Let Paradox know if you want Third Reich events for Hearts of Iron 4. But so we have, so I design things like this and I think of them from those terms. So if I'm playing a World War II game, okay, and this is one thing that I think Paradox to some degree has lost sight of. Take some time. Oh, okay, I'm reading what Arno was saying. They've lost sight of it to some degree in that I do think that they're trying to please their Crusader kings and EU players, that they want to, paint the map whatever color. And when you're talking about, because I really love EU, it's been years since I've really played it, and I was playing it for the channel a little while ago, but really should have dug in and played it. When you're playing a game that you're spanning multiple hundreds of years of time scale, yeah, you're going to go off the rails of history. Absolutely. And I'm good with that. So long as it makes reasonable sense and it is, sort of starts with some historical basis. This is a roughly 10-year time frame of a game. Now, should you be railroaded down history? Absolutely not. But your choices should be based within the historical realms of probability, of possibility, of likelihood. Those are all sort of different terms. Yes, but let Paradox know. They don't watch this stream, Tippett. I know. I can sort of complete building it if you just let them know and they say yes to things and strike a deal with me. We'll have it. But until they do, it's not going to happen. So I am, and some war games want to railroad it much more than I think is necessary. But what I'm looking at is I want the AI, so long as it makes a reasonable amount of sense, to follow historical expectations. I really don't want a game in which the U.S. just decides to go to war with England because it's just decided to go on an anti-colonial crusade or something like that. And that just doesn't make sense. Now, if a player, if you have a human player playing America, and they decide, that's a different matter. But I want the AI to follow something reasonably historical, so long as that makes sense. So instead of waiting until a specific day in 1940 to do Fall Gelb and attack the Low Countries, doing it early, okay, that's within the realm of history, because that was actually the original plan. It was the generals talking Hitler out of his insistence on a early rush into them in what would have been winter. Now we started, it's now getting into winter. What they started a little early. So yeah, that is a bit of a thing. Okay, we have recently, I guess. Yeah, we could just do more artillery. So we're going to grind through a lot of that, I'm sure. So let's increase, and partially we've improved things so we're not producing them as fast as we might. So I'm always looking at this from a design perspective. Okay, well, yeah. Changing new point. Okay, oh no, I'm down here. That maybe do it. I think these are a bunch of NKVD type. Some of them are. Okay, let's oh no, we want trash those orders. Okay, select all. Okay, now here we're going to this division, let's give them the cavalry out. Where'd he go? Here. Okay, Manchukuo issues diplomatic protest. We have no. We're going to keep our attaché in China. We're getting a little points for it, but too bad, guys. Okay, so we have our. We're going to transfer over there. So we have partially. I'm doing this because I don't want the AI to do that, and I don't know that we're going to keep the AI. Probably not as a. Okay. One last rant before we end the episode. It isn't a major rant, but okay, I can't program AIs at all. I have no AI programming capability in my mind. I don't know how hard it is to do. I do the closest sort of thing to AI programming I do is for some of the events is I give a percentage chance for the AI to choose a particular result in either a decision or an event. You know, pick A or B 50-50 or 80-20 or 90-10%. There's no point, at least most of the stuff is doing stuff less than 90% because either you don't want it to happen, so you just 100% tell the AI to make a particular choice, or you always tell it to do, or you give it a some sort of chance of happening. So at least most things 10%. You at least want a 10% chance of something that you want to have happen. So that's the most I do, and that's obviously nothing for AI. But how hard can it be for an AI programmer to program in the idea of terrain and the type of unit to place in there? Oh man, my Japanese is so long gone. I did have 3 years of it, so I'm not even going to. I recognize the hiragana letters. Who has posted something in Cyrillic, presumably Russian, that I cannot read on YouTube. So, hello, my Japanese friend. Konnichiwa would be my time here. I don't know. Would it be konbanwa? Your time. Good evening there. Japan. Yes, I do get Japan. Skoshi nihongo o hanashimasu. I'm sure my accent is bad. I took it for 3 years and way back in high school, but my Japanese fails me. So yes, konbanwa. Or is it just, or is moshi moshi the right thing to do on the internet nowadays? I don't know. Sorry, it's been a long time and the internet didn't really exist back then. But okay, so yeah, okay, yeah. I'm sorry, my hiragana is basically nothing. Or is it? Oh, no, katakana. Katakana? Oh God, I'm really sounding a fool, aren't I? Katakana, hiragana. Yeah, I'm recognizing some of the. Yeah, I'm not even going to try. Not even going to try. Okay, so little rant here on. Okay, so you have terrain. States, players, factions, ideology, infrastructure. Okay, I guess no, never mind. Okay, so we have terrain here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not going to even try to get that. So we have terrain here. this is a plane. The AI should recognize that this is a plane, and maybe it's a quite reasonable option to put a cavalry unit in a plane. That can be a reasonable option. An infantry unit, yeah, that's a good option to put in a city. Yeah, okay. This guy's command here is this border. It has terrain. It has forest. Yay. It has a forest. Yay. Here's a mountain division. I don't know what sort of flags, but tags that may be there that you could put in there. But over here, what do you know? Mountains. You can't freaking program an AI. Hey, yeah, thanks for following on Twitch. And if you haven't already, please subscribe on YouTube. Can't you program your AI good enough to go, hey, we have a, in our area of operation that's been designated by the human, mountains. Maybe we should send the mountain division to the mountains. Okay, we're going to unassign the unit, yes. And then we're going to, this is why I don't play, at least normally, and I'm not going to once we get the war sort of going. I'm not going to play with the AI as at least leading most stuff. Is that I just don't trust it. Oh God. Dozo, Romaji, please. EA. Cyrillic. Wakarimasu ka? I have a chance in the Romaji, not in Cyrillic. So Russian. EA, Russo, Russian. Ingarisu, Dozo. Okay, well, we're going to end this episode, not the live stream. Live stream isn't going anywhere, but we're going to end the episode here with the fall of Poland and turning over the Eastern Poland to the great Soviet Union. Thanks so much, everyone. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.